This program is part of the Cosmic Potato Podcast Network. For more shows like this, visit our website at cosmicpotato.com.
Hey, listen!
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Make it so.
It's me, Mario!
I'm Batman. Strong am I with the Force.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're a wizard, Harry.
And welcome to World War G, episode 207. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
No Colton today.
Yes. Under the weather.
Yeah, he's feeling a little under the weather, so.
Hopefully it'll be, fine and dandy for Valentine's Day and whatnot.
If this was a job, I'd be bringing him in, talk about his attendance.
Yeah.
Missed a couple days in the last couple of weeks.
You're like, hey, we're going to need you to show up. Maybe he can do like an episode himself to do some overtime.
There you go.
And
yeah.
kind of play catch up.
I'm not one to talk. I've canceled the show several times.
It's all good.
So, anyway. We have another taste test. We can always count on our friends over at Oreo to come out with weird flavors.
Right? They come out with some really bizarre ones.
Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of a recent thing, too. They never used to do that.
No, I think it's just an attempt to get more sales.
Well, yeah. It worked for me.
Huh.
So, this is limited edition Love Oreo.
Oh, man.
And you might ask, what's the flavor? All it says is sweet and tangy.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually funny because I put this out on Facebook and just to see, kind of place your bets. Is this going to be good or not?
Mm-hmm.
Tasty or wasty.
Right.
And Katie said they look delicious. Then Joel said, what's the flavor? Just sweet and tangy? That's pretty non-specific. That's like coming out with a flavor called good.
Yeah, more or less.
It's true.
Come on, Joel. You want to try some, tasty, sweet and tasty...
You want
cream.
that sweet and tangy flavor cream.
Yeah.
Then I said, yep, just says sweet and tangy. So he said, new flavor from Oreos. Round. All right. So let's bust these open here. There we go.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know either. So the cream is... Ooh, it smells weird. So the cream is like a pinkish, reddish kind of flavor.
Yeah.
It's almost like... Remember when they came out with that... What was it? Secret flavor, and I think it was Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, yes.
Was that Oreo or was that something else? I can't remember.
I think it was Oreo. They came out with a secret flavor that you had to try to guess what it was.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it smells like.
It does.
So...
They just they just colored it different and here you go.
No, it's for Valentine's Day now. Yeah. So I'm going to try the cream first. It is sweet and tangy.
I had to try it together to get the full effect. It's not half bad. It's pretty decent.
If you just try the cream by itself, it's really weird. Like it hit me down in my jaw. That was weird. I mean, together, yeah, it's not bad.
That's what they're trying to say about love.
Love.
So
together, it's not bad.
Yeah.
These are okay.
Yeah. As a limited edition, they're not too bad.
Yeah. But I don't think I'd get my significant other these, you know.
Right.
It's like what is the point of this novelty? It's like you wouldn't show up somewhere with these. You wouldn't give them as a gift, I don't think.
This to me kind of reminds me of those, the cheap Walmart chocolates that you can get. You've got something more like C's or some of these decadent chocolates that they've got. And then they've got the ones that are like in the little Be Mine Valentine's cheapie. It's like $2, or you can buy it at like the dollar store. You can buy it for $1, like a thin box of chocolates. Like, they're not going to be great. I mean, they're not going to be like horrible, but they're not going to be good by any means.
So, this has occurred to me, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. So, Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
It's in 4 days as we record this. Do you have any Valentine's Day fail stories? Because I got one.
Go ahead and say yours.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and think for a second, because I think I do.
So, my soon-to-be ex-wife and I never really celebrated Valentine's Day. That was never really our thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't really all that important to us. But I thought okay, I'm actually going to do something. So, we were living in this tiny little apartment, and she was working across the street at the library part-time. And she was over there. I was like, all right, I'm actually going to go buy some stuff. So I bought how they have those jumbo cards? Mm-hmm. Went and bought one of those. I bought this heart-shaped candle that sat on this little heart-shaped base and had all these, fake red rocks on it.
Okay.
I bought her favorite chocolates. I bought her a couple other things. And when I knew she was going to come home, I lit the candle, shut off all the lights.
Yeah.
Right?
Being all romantic.
Right.
Nice.
And she comes in. Apparently, she had a pretty bad day at work. She came in. She was on the phone. She turned on the light.
Yeah.
Completely ignored everything I'd set out. Ignored me.
You're like naked on the couch.
Right.
Just walks right past.
And just didn't acknowledge anything the entire night.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Oh, I bet. What the heck? I actually put some effort into this.
I got really upset with her, and the whole Valentine's Day was completely ruined. I never tried to do anything for Valentine's Day ever again.
That was your one attempt?
That was my one attempt, and it was a massive fail.
I couldn't think of a time that, it didn't go off, decent. But what I did think of is when I used to work for the credit union, years back when I first started, I was delivering mail to different departments. Yeah. And I'd have to I'd have a scanner, and you'd scan the package in, from FedEx or UPS, and then you'd have to deliver it to them. And I can't tell you how many times there were women that they would send flowers to themselves at the office. Ooh. It was bad. I always played it off cool and didn't say anything. Sad. And she just but there was a couple of times I wanted to call out this one lady. I don't know. She always bugged me. And then she's like, ooh, I wonder who my secret admirer is. And put him out there on display. And I'm like, I can read that you sent him, from yourself. It has your name on the, as the person that's sending it.
As you're walking away, you hear ooh, look at this, everybody.
Yeah, she made such a big deal about it. Yeah. Although one time we actually had to shut down the whole warehouse for a little bit because there was a leaking substance coming from a box, and it turned out to be just Sherry's berries.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They shut down the whole place, and we were thinking it's some sort of anthrax scare or something, and it just turned out to be Sherry's berries. I know.
That's awesome. Funny. They don't tell you that with the advertisements.
No.
Sherry's berries
might leak all over the place.
Okay. If you guys have any Valentine's Day fails stories you wanna pass along, feel free. We'll certainly share them on the next episode. All right, so let's get to our news stories here. This Week in Geek.
This Week in Geek.
And actually, a lot of these stories aren't extremely geeky. Looking at them again, but that's okay. First, we're going to start out with the list
because everybody loves the list.
And I found this on Mental Floss. And it's 17 bizarre work-related ailments.
Okay.
Now, the reason I wanted...
Speaking of Colton being out.
Yeah. The reason... Maybe he's suffering from one of these.
Yes.
The reason that I wanted to share this is, one, it's kind of funny. And two, we always talk about how you get podcast brain.
Yes.
It's a very real thing. I've heard other podcasters talk about it.
It is.
That as soon as the microphone turns on, your mind just goes blank. And you
forget
can't...
everything.
You forget everything.
Yeah.
So, they've named these kind of similar things. So, number one, we got Baker's knee.
What?
Yeah. Baker's knee is a skeletal condition that causes the legs to bend inward towards each other. Until, according to one 19th century dictionary, they, quote, closely resemble the right side of the letter K.
Okay.
That's Baker's knee. Yeah,
that's so bizarre. You'd think it would be like something that like bakers would suffer from typically.
Yeah, that's why they call it that.
Oh, that's where because it resembled that initially.
Because that's the people that usually get it was usually bakers.
Okay, here I was just thinking. Well, they're not picking up too heavy of things, are they?
Well, it was once common amongst bakers who would typically have to put all their weight on only one leg while carrying heavy bread baskets.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of hold basket kind of like on their hip, and then they had all their weight on the other leg, and so
blow it in a little bit.
Yeah. Number 2, chauffeur's fracture.
Man.
Before some bright spark came up with the idea of starting cars from the inside, early automobiles had to be hand cranked from the outside using a starter's handle connected directly to the front of the engine.
I have seen these, and like those old-timey movies.
Me too, yeah. One of the consequences, though, was that the vehicle could suddenly backfire, jerking the handle backwards into the hand of the person starting it and causing a painful fracture of the radius, known as chauffeur's fracture.
That actually seems pretty legit. That, and also I think that if you're not careful, you could probably like bash it into your leg pretty easily, right? If it backfires on you.
Number 3, this is pretty much the reason I found this list.
Yeah.
And wanted to use it. Chimney sweep scrotum. As if life of a Victorian chimney sweep wasn't unpleasant enough, sometimes it was apparently necessary for sweeps to take off all their clothes to clamber into the smallest of soot-filled crawl spaces and flues. And as if that wasn't unpleasant enough, the carcinogenics. Thank you.
Yep.
Carcinogens.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Found in soot could irritate the, most delicate area of the chimney sweep's anatomy, and eventually cause a form of cancer called chimney sweep scrotum.
Do you think Dick Van Dyke suffered from that?
I was just going to say. Or more euphemistically, sootwort.
I
was going to say, you'll never watch Mary Poppins the same way ever again,
right?
will you?
She's like, get away from me. You got sootwort.
Sorry, Mary Poppins. I've got chimney sweep scrotum, I have. Should sing a song about that.
Right.
Number 4, clergyman's knee.
These are like specific to a certain job. Yeah.
A bursa is a small sac of fluid that cushions the bones and tendons of a joint. In bursitis, the sac becomes inflamed, often very painfully, and in I'm not good with
podcast brain
medical terms. Infrapatellar bursitis.
Sounds legit.
Okay. It's the bursa just below the kneecap that is affected. This particular form of bursitis is nicknamed clergyman's knee because it's often caused by all of the person's body weight being concentrated on the lowest point of the knee when they kneel down, just like a clergyman praying in church. Number 5, and I won't read all of these.
Yeah.
Number 5, cobbler's femur. So it's a small fracture in the femur, apparently. Because you're hammering the soles of shoes in your lap all day, every day, for a lifetime. The hammering causes tiny, painless fractures to open up in your thigh bones from hammering all day. Fiddler's neck.
What the? Okay, that actually seems pretty legit.
Because you're playing violin. And, yeah. Gamekeeper's thumb. It's caused by damage to the ulnar collateral ligament. Let's see. Cases were identified among Scottish gamekeepers who would dispatch of larger game like rabbits by pinning them down and breaking their necks between their thumb and forefinger. So it caused so much pressure on the ligament that it would tear. So gamekeeper's thumb. Number 8. Glassblower's cataract.
See, I think that they're going to eventually, like, these are old-timey jobs for the most part, right?
Yeah.
I think we are going to have some of these, and people are going to start calling in being like, Texter's thumb.
Thumb.
Yeah. Or like, video game carpal tunnel syndrome or something.
Gamer's hand.
Right? I could say,
oh no, I got the gamer's hand.
I'm trying to think of any other, like, millennial type
porn star finger.
Is that really the next one on this list?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
Just
thinking of.
Just the one. It's not the whole hand. It's just the one.
Yeah.
Sorry. Number 8. Glassblower's cataract. Heating up glass or molten metal in a furnace can release small amounts of radiation that, in the days long before protective eyewear, would be absorbed by the glassblower's eyes.
Side note, that's always been one of my things that I've wanted to learn how to do.
Glassblowing?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I thought that would be like so awesome to learn how to do that.
Number 9. Hatter's shakes. Now, if you know Alice in Wonderland.
Mad Hatter.
Yeah. There was a reason that the term Mad as a Hatter was a thing, because when they would create the hats, they would use mercury.
Okay.
And so prolonged exposure to this mercury and the mercury vapors would make you literally go crazy. And you'd shake and have like seizures and yeah. Housemaid's knee, number 10.
Now these just seem like they're made. These are okay. So these are legitimate things that people would call in and say, "Hey, can't come in because I've got this."
I've got the housemaid's knee.
Right.
It's kind of like the clergyman's knee, kind of the same thing. Victorian maids in Victorian homes would kneel, and it'd be on wood floors, and so that would cause problems. Painter's colic.
Okay.
Obviously, with painting, you get all the fumes, and
that's actually part of the reason. Or one of the things that they think that happened to my grandpa why he got Alzheimer's.
Really?
From because they lead-based paints is what they use typically, and he painted the majority of his life, and yeah.
See, I worry that I'm gonna get Sharpie brain.
Yeah.
Because I use a lot of Sharpies when I draw, and those fumes can sometimes really get to you.
Oh, yeah. There was actually a couple of kids that didn't, this was on their graduation day back in 5th grade, that took Sharpies to the bathroom and also had some of those, that
Dare
glue.
Yeah.
And were huffing it. And didn't graduate from Dare because the police officer, our Dare officer, went into the bathroom to use the bathroom and smelt the glue and stuff and caught the kids.
Dare to keep a kid off glue.
Yes.
Remember the song, by the way?
Dare to
keep a kid off drugs.
That's the only
Dare
Why
to keep a kid off dope.
Yeah. It seemed like it was a plea at the very end.
To give a kid some help. Dare to give a kid some hope.
Dare, why can't you help us?
It was
bad.
It's you wonder why they aren't doing Dare anymore.
Right.
Number 12. Student's elbow. Also nicknamed plumber's elbow and miner's elbow.
Now they're just renaming it.
Yeah. I wonder if like tennis elbow, I wonder if that's the same thing. Just constant use of your elbow. Porn star elbow. See, that's another one. So I think that'd be more in the wrist. Number 13. Taylor's bunion.
Okay.
Taylor's bunion is an inflammation of the bone at the base of the little toe, which causes a hard and very often very painful growth to emerge. The condition was once traditionally common among tailors, who would spend a great deal of time working with fabric while sitting cross-legged on the floor, causing the outside of their feet to rub against the ground.
Makes sense. I'll sometimes notice that a little bit, like if I run too much, like the front of your feet go towards the front of your toe, or the shoes, and kind of rub up against there.
Let's see, 14 and 15, trombone player's lung and horn player's palsy.
You'd appreciate that, right?
You too.
Yeah.
Hypersensitivity, pneumonitis, pneumonitis.
Anemone.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Is a catch-all medical term for an inflammation of the lungs caused by inhaling bacteria-riddled dust, vapor, or air. And if those bacteria come from the inside of a brass instrument, then you've contracted trombone player's lung. I didn't play trombone long enough to get this.
See, and now I'm thinking back, because like a lot of the times, there was a couple of times when you just kind of like you're playing around with your instrument and you breathe in as well as out, or if you were trying to like clear the spit valves. But
yeah, by the way, speaking of the spit valves, like, if you guys don't know, if you've never played a brass instrument, because you're blowing into it all the time, there's literally a valve.
Well, you're buzzing. Yeah,
you're buzzing. Yeah. There's a valve at the bottom where you open up and you dump out your spit that's accumulated at the bottom.
Yeah.
So think about that next time you go to a concert and watch the brass players. You'll
see them going off to the side. Yeah.
You'll see them do that. It's disgusting.
It's like the farmer blow of brass instruments.
Yeah. It's the brass blow.
Yeah. Although brass players, can kick brass. So.
That's true. Apparently this has many, the trombone player's lung has a lot of different terms. There's also sauna worker's lung, bird fancier's lung, pigeon breeder's lung.
So if they fancy birds?
Yep. Cheese washer's lung and snuff taker's lung.
Snuff taker's lung? Okay.
Yeah, it's, snuff, it was another term for tobacco.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So that would make sense. Number 16. Weaver's bottom. I mean, it kind of makes sense. You're sitting all day. Painful inflammation of the sac or bursa that cushions the ischium bone in the hip, known as Weaver's bottom.
That's a polite way of saying,
that your butt hurts.
Yeah.
That you got butt pains.
Can you imagine trying to call into work because you got butt pains?
Sorry. I got Weaver's bottom.
What'd you do this weekend? What? Sat around and gamed.
I got gamer's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Number 17, wool sorter's disease, also known as rag picker's disease or sheep shearer's lung. Wool sorter's disease actually doesn't sound too bad when compared to its proper name, pulmonary anthrax.
Oh, geez.
That one I got.
Yeah.
First noticed among Yorkshire sheep shearers in the 19th century, wool sorter's disease is caused by inhaling the bacteria that naturally occur in sheep's fleeces. So there you go.
All right.
So everything back then was terrible.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything can kill you back then.
People say that, they'd love to live back then with a simpler time. No, everything will make you sick. Just any job you have.
Yeah. All their employers should be grateful that they made it to work alive.
No kidding.
Right?
coming to work with Weaver's Bottom and Student Elbow and yeah,
brass lung.
Yeah, brass lung.
Okay. Speaking of things that'll kill you, like zombies.
Yes.
Paramount just pulled the plug on David Finch's World War Z sequel. And
our namesake.
Right? And it's been and that's why I thought I'd bring it up. But then it also has been replaced because they're putting together 2 more Mission Impossible installments, 7 and 8, coming out in 2021 and 2022. But I feel like too much time has passed for them to really go back and do this, right? It's been 10 years or so?
When did the first one come out? Was it about 10 years ago? It feels like it.
Right? So for him to, and I don't even know what they would really do because they kind of put a nice little bow on the last one.
Yeah, they did. They kind of wrapped things up.
Unless they wanted to go a direction of a 28 weeks later kind of a deal where it's this is what's happened, this is how everything's kind of changed, but as for him trying to get down to patient 0 or try to figure out what the cause is, that's that ship has sailed.
Well, and I'm not surprised that they canceled it. I mean, zombies are kind of going out of fashion.
Yeah.
I think once The Walking Dead ends, that'll pretty much be the end of zombies for a while.
I could see that. Which, speaking of which, the new episode airs tonight.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
There you go. So I get it. It's not really zombies aren't really the thing anymore.
No. That, and I also think that, there's a lot of these movies you'll come across that don't really require another installment. I mean, I know it made a lot of money, but you could be happy with that project and then be known as the director that did this great project rather than hashing it out and just a money grab and then having it end poorly.
Yeah. And by the way, of all going back to all the sequels and everything of Mission Impossible and all that, who would have picked the 2 movies in the last 20 years that would get the most sequels would be Mission Impossible and Fast and Furious.
Right? Yeah.
That's weird.
That's way bizarre. Doesn't make any sense.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the preview for Hobbs and Shaw, the Fast and Furious spinoff, go watch it. It's awesome. It's stupid. And I'm going to see it 20 times in the theaters.
This is going to be the movie that's going to break. Wait, what's your record? 8?
6.
6? Okay.
6.
7. Here it comes.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You'll thank me later. Or not. Star Wars is trying to turn Darth Vader into an anti-hero. That's very bad. Apparently in the comics, the writers are trying to turn Darth Vader into more of a sympathetic character. Not so much a villain, but more of somebody that's been forced into this life.
Oh, geez. Now he's a victim. Darth Vader is a victim.
Darth Vader is a victim. And it just, I don't think it works. With this article, they call him, he's a tragic villain, yes, but he's still a villain.
Right.
He's not an anti-hero.
Yeah, no.
He may be popular and he may look cool, but let's face it, he's murdered thousands,
countless number of people. Yeah. The Death Star, kind of did a number.
He literally destroyed an entire planet. I mean, he's not. He's a villain. Sorry,
man.
Or he was. He's been dead.
Yeah, that just seems like it's almost doing his legacy a disservice.
Yes.
Right? You're we want him to be the villain. I want him to go down in history as one of these greats because that, even his breathing is so iconic.
Yeah.
It's easily, probably as far as villains go, I would say in the top 10 as far as most. I mean, you got Jaws that's going to be up there with John Williams,
right? And
some of these other ones that you can just like recognize like in an instant, and that to me, like I'd rather remember him like that direction.
Oh, he is one of the top 10 best movie villains of all time.
Oh yeah,
and even though in Return of the Jedi, yes, he does somewhat redeem himself, that doesn't change the fact.
No.
That up until then, he was a stone cold killer.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that little scene, that end scene in Rogue One with him.
Well, where he's like breaking necks and like just walking through, like trying to get this thing.
Killing
back.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
that gets in his way.
Yeah. That's not an anti-hero.
Yeah. That like, I know this is a horrible comparison, but that's almost like going the direction of like Hitler and trying to find like reasons that, you know, make him more empathetic. And
that was the original intent that Lucas had with the Empire. It's basically Space Hitler.
Yeah.
That's what the Emperor was. He was Space Hitler.
Right. With all of his other henchmen that just went along with this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Darth Vader was basically Space Goebbels.
Okay. Yeah.
Joseph Goebbels? What was it? I don't remember his name. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a bad direction to go.
Yes, agreed.
So, there has been 59 new emojis that have just recently, on the newest update for your iPhones, that just barely came out.
Because we need more.
Right? I feel like there's already way too many of them, and if they start taking away some of the ones that are used the most, that it's just going to cause problems. Have you noticed any with your updates?
Well, that's just what I was going to be looking at.
There's so many pages as it is already.
Yeah, I mean, they have obviously smileys and people.
Did you get the blood drop as well on the little kids in the wheelchair?
No, I didn't.
No? Like, these ones? That's what... Okay, that's the main reason, drop? And this is where it all came from, is originally... I forget the name of the group. They wanted to come out with a blood drop one, and they'd kind of put together a petition to get a blood drop to make it so it's not having your period isn't as taboo. Like, that you can actually express it and just like...
You can express your period in emoji.
Mm-hmm. That's really honest to goodness. I read was reading the article, and I was just like, oh, it's Planned International that put together this petition. For it.
Okay.
And then they've also, like, funny enough, they do have like the little finger, like smaller finger picture, you know, so the like women have a way to like respond to these unsolicited dick pics. Is what I'm thinking is the reason for.
And they have the seeing eye dog. They have waffles.
Yeah.
They have a lady in a wheelchair,
a robotic
and a
thumbs up,
robotic thumbs up arm.
Yeah, there's quite a few other ones, but man, these. It seems like we're trying to, like, 1984 is coming to pass, dude, that we're no longer going to talk in real words. We'll just, like, send hieroglyphs to each other, and that'll sum it all up.
Well, if you think about it, when's the last time you actually sat down with a pen and a piece of paper and wrote something?
It's been some time. I mean, I'll typically use, like, my laptop or something.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I know what you mean.
Or I mean, like
wrote
actually,
a letter and sent it in the mail.
Yeah, actually writing. I mean, yeah.
This is the most writing I've done all week. Is just like what we wrote down in the episode.
That's all I do is just little notes in this book here.
Yeah, it is a dying art form. Although it feels like it's getting less and less, because at first it started without like full sentences and slang and jargon and like getting shorter and shorter until it's just an emoji.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. People are losing the ability to communicate with other people.
Absolutely.
You know, you see a group of teenagers or tweenagers all together, they're all on their phone.
Yeah.
They're not talking, they're not communicating to each other, they're all on their phone.
Kids these days. Am I right?
I would like to see what they do when they get into like the job field. to the work field.
See, this to me, you know how like back in the day, there was people that were really good with handwriting.
Yes.
That they would compose letters for people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And anybody that was really articulate and stuff, they had better positions in the government, or so anybody that can like compose a complete sentence is going to be their leaders. This this to
Sweet.
me, right?
I can take over.
Yeah. No, I'm serious about that. Like,
Yeah.
it creates an opportunity for them to like step into these leadership positions because all these other people are just kind of like mindless drones.
Mm-hmm. Because back in our day,
Yeah.
you actually took writing classes.
Cursive, I had to learn it.
Cursive.
Now cursive
Yeah.
isn't even required, which to me, I'm wondering how the heck they're going to be able to sign their name, right?
That's the only time I ever write cursive.
Electronic signatures now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That was a required class. Typing was a required class.
That, and also one of my favorite things back in the day was just those whole pages of like 100 times tables.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was like the biggest, like coolest thing ever is when you flipped over your page first. You know?
I think if we were to go like be in school now,
Yeah.
I think we'd be totally lost.
Really?
I think it's completely changed than when we were in school, especially elementary school.
Yeah, but I think like at the same, I mean, because they have changed up how you're actually like supposed to write down math problems, and they call them different things.
Oh my! Have you seen that?
Yeah.
There was a great thing online I saw. Speaking of that, you had on one side it was a teacher doing that long form math that they're teaching now,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other side, a person doing the same problem of the math that everybody else in the world learned to do.
Yeah.
And the person on the right was done in about a minute and a half. And while the person on the left was still going.
Oh, geez.
And so the person on the right went and made like a cup of coffee and did all these other things.
Came back, and then they finally had finished
Yeah.
it up.
It was funny.
Which, that to me also, I would much rather like learn how to do things that I'm going to be needing later on in life. You know? When was the last time that you used the Pythagorean theorem, Troy?
I'm not even sure what that is.
The a squared plus b squared equals c squared?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
See how long I've been out of school?
Right? Like, try to remember these things. It's like, you can use a calculator for all this.
Yeah.
And also, I would have liked to have learned how to do my taxes, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, now they have Tax Act and some of these other programs are very easy, but still,
Yeah.
it just things. Why don't we learn some useful things?
Oh, the teachers say, oh, you'll never have a calculator with you all the time.
Yeah.
Haha. Bull crap.
Booyah! Take that. We've got like a laptop in our hand
That's right.
with this phone.
No,
the
the only time I actually use real math at all is when I'm drawing.
Okay.
Because occasionally when I'm drawing, you do have to use geometry.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, like if you're going to do like backgrounds, buildings and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going down like long like streets or something.
Yeah. Yep. So you do have to use a little bit of geometry there, but even that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty easy to learn. So, so what we're saying is don't worry about math. You never use it.
Exactly. Just use an emoji.
Just, yeah.
There will be an emoji for
a math emoji.
Mm-hmm.
So Universal Orlando now has a naked troll that farts glitter. Okay. Let me explain what that sentence means.
Yeah.
So, Universal Studios in Orlando has this meet and greet with the stars of the movie Trolls. Now, it's the characters. It's not Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick.
What?
Which I know it's a shame.
Disheartening.
Yeah, it's these big, characters walking around in these suits, and one apparently I haven't seen the Trolls movie, but one apparently is named Guy Diamond. Is part of the Trolls meet and greet, and he does his famous glitter fart.
Oh, geez.
Which I didn't know was a thing.
That sounds horrible.
See, because okay, let me see here. They have a video. If you want to watch it, you can go to. I found this at scarymommy.com, and they actually have a video. You can watch this guy fart glitter. So you got the people over in Disney that are using the technology in their suits to like make sure the actors inside are nice and cool. You know, they got fans in there.
Right.
Mickey can blink now. You know, they can make kissy noises, blow kisses at people. Woody can do that. Mm-hmm. And then Universal is like, no, let's make a troll fart glitter.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That's what we'll use the technology for.
Can you imagine, like, if you're that, like, the creator of that suit? You're like, what did you do today at work?
Yeah. You imagine being the actor in that suit?
Oh, geez. Yeah.
He's in there like, man, I went to Juilliard. The heck am I doing?
I'm professionally trained.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I hate my life.
Jeez, what the heck? I don't even know how to segue this.
You can.
Yeah. There's a zoo in Texas that is offering to you can name a cockroach after your ex, and then they will feed it to their meerkats on Valentine's Day.
Johnny Wood. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't even know. I mean, it doesn't give a price or anything, but it just seemed kind of funny that
That is kind of funny.
It was such a random story, and it's so close to Valentine's Day. I had to throw it into the mix. But.
So I wonder if you can... okay. It says, names will be displayed on our meerkat exhibit and our social media starting February 11th.
Oh, okay.
Watch live February 14th at 2:15 p.m. on Facebook or our meerkat webcam to see our meerkat mob crunch down on these little bugs.
So they're probably going to be like, oh, this person, bye-bye, John Doe, and throw it into the mix.
So you can, send the link to your ex.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah, at least that's what I would do.
You're like, oh, here's this video. Watch this.
Like, oh no, the Joni cockroach just got eaten up. Okay, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Okay, so Liam Neeson has been in the news the last little bit.
Yeah.
He's had some troubles.
Well, and it's really funny that you should bring this up is because he's kind of had a resurgence with this new film that's coming out, and it's never a good thing when bad publicity and this go hand in hand.
They canceled the premiere.
Oh, that's how bad it was?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, geez.
So you can imagine being this studio that put all this money into this film.
Yes.
And then to have him come out and say the stuff he did, it's like, really, Liam? Anyway, so if you don't know, here's what happened. So he made a comment that, it was a long time ago, about 40 years ago. He found out that one of his friends was raped by a black man.
Yes.
And so he hit the streets of, I think he was in Ireland at the time.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched the little article, where he tried to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, and he had a club, and he was basically looking for a black man to
he'd walk around in shady parts.
Yeah,
where he knew that it was highly populated with African American community, and just go looking for fights basically.
Yeah,
to try to find that dude.
And they asked, and it wasn't even the dude. It was just, he wanted to look for a black person.
Oh, geez, yeah.
That's what he said. And now he's saying, well, no, he's not racist. I'm not a racist. Okay.
I get that was I don't know. I think there's much better ways of kind of coping and dealing with this.
Well, this is what he said. He said, I went out deliberately into black areas in the city, looking to be set upon so I could unleash physical violence. I did it maybe 4 or 5 times. It shocked me and it hurt me. I did seek help. I went to a priest.
Not professional help, just like to a priest, you know.
Yeah.
Father, forgive me, for I have sinned.
I have sinned, yeah.
What did you do?
Said, I was trying to show honor, to stand up for my dear friend in this terrible medieval fashion. I'm a fairly intelligent guy, and that's why it kind of shocked me when I came down to earth after having these horrible feelings. But when asked point blank whether he would have murdered a black man had his plan to provoke a fight actually succeeded, the actor bluntly replied, yes.
Oh, wow.
So, and the other thing is, he voluntarily gave up this information. It's not like they were asking him.
Yeah.
It's not like they say, hey, did you ever have a friend that was raped by a black man? What'd you do about that? No, he just said these things.
Yeah.
And
those are the, not that he should have done this, but those are the things that you'd want to like just take to your grave.
Yeah, just don't keep them inside.
Yeah.
Liam, keep them inside. We all have bad thoughts. I get it, but they're just thoughts.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, people calling him like a racist and all this, maybe he was 40 years ago, but I don't think he is now. And so calling him a racist now, I think is a little much.
I don't know. Because at the same time, like, you get these elderly people that are definitely racist, you know? They're kind of set in their ways, and this is the way it was back in their day, and...
Make America great again.
Right? So, it's difficult to say, especially when he voluntarily just gives up this information and is talking about it.
But also, you know, being in Hollywood, it's really difficult to be that kind of person, to be a racist in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think working in that environment for so long as he has, I think I'm not saying I don't know that he's all of a sudden this great liberal or anything, but I'm just saying he would be hard pressed not to start turning in that direction. So I don't know, to say that he's a racist now, I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like being around that kind of a community and being... I mean, you're working... Well, I don't know. That would be kind of interesting to see all the movies he's done to see if he's actually ever, like, made any ones where hasn't been, like, an all whitewashed cast or something. Right? Well, because I'm thinking, like, once he's made a name for himself, some, like, these producers and different directors, they can kind of do whatever they like.
Yeah.
And they've built a name for themselves. I don't know. Yeah. Still, horrible time to divulge this stuff. And most of the time, like, what's the director that did Guardians of the Galaxy?
James Gunn.
Okay. They had to go back and look through his Twitter feed and, like, look through everything to dig up information to try to bring it up to him, you know? Here, Liam Neeson just like...
Hey, guess what I did once?
Yeah, back in the day, back in my day. Although, do you think that if they ever made a movie about these events, that he would star in it?
I don't know. It does seem like the kind of movie he'd be in.
Right?
Yeah. And look, I'm not saying that what he did...
He's a method actor is what it is.
It's true. And I'm not saying that what he did was right. Obviously, it was a horrible thing for him to do. I'm just saying people change over the course of 40 years.
Yeah.
You know? Especially, like I said, if you're in that liberal Hollywood environment, I doubt that he's kept to these staunch...
beliefs.
These beliefs. Of all he wants to do is just go fight a black man, doesn't matter which one. You know, I'm just saying I just doubt it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'd think he'd know how to do a better interview, right?
You'd think. You'd think. And see, maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe he's thinking, well, it's been so long now. It's not a big deal. It's like,
everybody's done it.
Ask Kevin Spacey about that.
Yeah.
Things happened a long time ago. It's not a big deal. Yeah.
Speaking of Hollywood, the Batman, Robert Pattinson, reportedly will play the next Dark Knight. Now, this is still just speculation because they've...
Yes.
But he's... As far as, like, narrowing it down their search, he's definitely in the running and could potentially be playing the next Batman.
I really hope not.
Right?
And look, and I'm not just saying because Robert Pattinson was in the Twilight films.
That's why I am.
And I have a severe hatred for the Twilight films, because I do. But I'm saying because he doesn't look at all like a Bruce Wayne. At all.
No, not really, no.
He has a very thin frame. Maybe he can bulk up. I don't think he's going to be able to bulk up to, like, Batman standards.
Well, at the same time, Christian Bale was about the same size, right?
True, but I think Christian Bale had more of the look that Bruce Wayne has. He has, the kind of a darker look. Yeah, it has the dark hair, the darker eyebrows. That's just what you think of when you think of Bruce Wayne, whereas Robert Pattinson, I don't know, he seems...
He seems more of like a Nightwing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I could actually see, like, that could actually work a little bit better. Like, he just doesn't have the look.
Doesn't have a Bruce Wayne look. No, he doesn't.
No.
And it's not that he's a bad actor. Twilight aside, he's actually a fairly good actor. In other movies he's done, he just doesn't have the right look. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And we've kind of talked about this before. We don't need to go back into it, but we've already put who we think, like, some of the new Batmans should be.
Yeah.
Or why don't they just give it some time? I'm all
give it
for
some time.
Even like Batman and Superman. I think they should just give it some time. Like, let the water settle before you go making these things again.
Focus on your other DC characters.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of stuff with Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Right.
You got Green Lantern coming. You have all these other movies coming. Focus on them for a minute. Let Batman and Superman sit over here and ruminate for a little bit.
Otherwise, they'll just become like one of those like hit songs that they keep playing over and over on the radio, and people get sick of seeing. And there's like, okay, that's what, like, to me, it kind of happened a little bit with like Spider-Man. I'm like, oh geez, like there's so many different installments of it, and it's like, okay, there's other Marvel characters you could be doing.
Yeah, agreed.
But oh well.
Speaking of superheroes, so I thought it'd be kind of interesting to name our three favorite superhero films that are not in the MCU.
In the MCU, like, as far as, like, canon for... Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, from Iron Man in 2008 onwards, all of those films, so you can't have any of those.
Okay.
But it can be a Marvel character, it can be a DC character, it just can't be within the MCU currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
We kind of like, well, as soon as you posed this question, Colton and I had already responded, and here's Colton's picks. He put, like, I'd have to say X-Men, the first one, Deadpool, and Doctor Strange. And he's like, oh, wait, crap, not Doctor Strange. Fine, I'll save it for the show.
Yeah. Now he's not here, so.
Right? For myself, man, I've gone back and watched this movie probably 5 or 6 times. I love the Logan movie. Like, it's depressing and just makes you like. We went and seen it together.
Yeah,
I've even seen because I got it on. This is like one of the 3 movies that I've got that's also in 4K format, but it had a noir version of it, and it actually works like really well. There's few movies that you can say that about, but so the Logan movie, I really liked the first Amazing Spider-Man. I thought that, like,
so the one with not Tobey Maguire, but with Andrew Garfield?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The first one. The second one was a little too campy, and the villain was just, it was all right. But, like, I really didn't mind. I thought they were going to have for sure 3 movies with Andrew Garfield. And my last pick would probably have to be either X-Men Apocalypse or Deadpool. Like one of those two.
X-Men Apocalypse, interesting.
The only thing that I didn't like about, because I liked the whole concept of Apocalypse coming down and there being these 4 horsemen that are supposed to help, right?
Yeah.
And it made perfect sense for him to pick Storm. Or, I would have thought that he would have picked like Storm, Magneto, and like 2 others. But like the 2 that he picked, like I forget her name with the swords. Psylocke, and then wasn't it Angel? What's his name?
Angel.
Was it Angel? Yeah. Because then he was like able to shoot his blood. I mean, they kind of upgraded him a little bit. But those to me kind of seem like the 2 weak links. If you're going to have like these, 4 horsemen that are going to help you bring in the apocalypse, they were kind of like the weak. But other than that, I actually thought it was a pretty solid movie.
Okay. All right. Well, for me, I thought when I posed this question, I thought, well, what are mine? And I thought to myself, it's easy, stupid. You know exactly what the 3 are.
Yeah.
So the first one is, I went a little further back than you.
Okay.
The first Superman from 1978 or 77, one of the 2. It's pretty much the granddaddy of all superhero films.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get to the MCU without this first Superman movie. Without the success of this movie. It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Because before that, there had been no giant superhero films. This was the first. This was the first big superhero blockbuster that was ever put on screen. And the superhero genre basically was going to succeed or fail with this movie. Luckily, it succeeded.
This was like back in the day, this is their Iron Man movie.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, the effects don't hold up all that well, all that good, but it's still, other than that, it still holds up pretty well. And it's pretty much the only one of those movies, those 4 Christopher Reeve Superman movies that I'll watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch number 2 occasionally, but really it's mostly just I'll watch number 1. And then the second one is Batman from 89.
Okay.
With Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I've probably seen that movie once or twice a year, every year since it came out.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, we had the VHS as long as I can remember. And I think I have. Maybe I don't have the DVD. I thought I did. Anyway. But yeah, I've managed to watch it every year. It's just a really well put together film. I think Jack Nicholson is the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Just nails it.
Yeah.
It's a bit campy now compared to the other Batman films we've gotten. But there's a charm to it that the other Batman films don't have.
A certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, exactly. That is just, I mean, it's quotable. It's a classic film. It's awesome. And again, that's
are any of these in this century. No, just kidding.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
And like Superman, I'll pretty much only watch that first one of those 4 Batman films because the other 3 are not great. And then the third one is Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
With Tobey Maguire. For a long time, Spider-Man 2 was my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yes. They stepped up their game from the first one. The effects were really cool. The way they did Dr. Octopus was really cool.
Oh, no, it was a solid movie.
Yeah. Had some great fight scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they were fighting on the side of the building, when he had Aunt May, when they were fighting on the train, man, there's some really, really cool fight scenes in that film. Yeah. And it's just it's the most Spider-Man-y film of those Tobey Maguire movies, I would say.
Yeah.
Because number 3 goes off the rails real quick.
Number 2, it was decent. Number 3 just goes all over the place, and then they just like bring in Venom and
Sandman and
anybody else that they could think of to throw into the mix.
Yeah, it was. And they have him emo dancing around like an idiot. Yeah.
Not a good movie.
Yeah. Honorable mention goes to the first X-Men movie.
Okay.
In 2000. Because that introduced us all to Hugh Jackman.
Right.
And that's a good thing for everybody. Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Speaking of movies, I wanted to bring up one. I kind of pulled a Troy here, and I had every intention of getting the newest, the girl with like the dragon tattoo. It just barely came out. I think that's what it's called. I forget what it's called.
I think it's like the girl in the spider's web or girl.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
I had every intention because I had a free like Redbox code, and I was just like, I'll just get this movie and see how it actually is.
Yeah.
And then when I was there, I was looking through some of the other ones, and I didn't know a thing about this movie. It's called The Sisters Brothers, and it stars John Riley, and then Joaquin Phoenix and Jake Gyllenhaal are some of the notable people that you'd recognize in this movie.
Is it a Western?
It is.
Oh.
And it is really well done. I was like pleasantly surprised with this. So the basic premise of this movie is there's a gentleman that's wanted by the he's wanted to bring in because he's got this new technique and style of getting gold out of the river that's less invasive and less doesn't do as much damage to the river itself. Mm-hmm. So Jake Gyllenhaal's character, well, because let's see, John and Joaquin, they're the two brothers, and they kind of botched up the last job that they were doing. It kind of didn't go off seamlessly. Yeah. So they bring in another guy, Jake Gyllenhaal. He's recruited by, their leader to go and find this gentleman, and bring him in, and at least scout him out and find where he's located at, and then have the two brothers interrogate him and get this information out of him and bring him back to the conquistador. The only problem is Jake Gyllenhaal, after talking to this gentleman and like catching up with him, kind of starts seeing things the way starts siding with him and started thinking like, hey, we could actually make some money doing this stuff. So you've still got the two brothers that are coming after him, and like still, because now they're in cahoots together, and then other things go awry. But I don't want to give away too much of this, but I'm not a huge John Riley fan, like, at all. Although recently,
John C. Reilly?
Yeah.
Well, because he does a lot of comedies now with Will Ferrell.
Right.
He's actually a really good dramatic actor.
Yes. Yeah. And he's in that, like, what's the Stan and Ollie movie?
Oh, I want to see that.
I really do. I want to see it as well. But yeah, I know he's like kind of known for his comedies, but this one, he actually plays a pretty empathetic brother because what he has to do is Joaquin's character is constantly getting drunk and he's having to watch out for him. Even though he's the younger brother, he's still having to take care of his brother. Yeah. And they're trying to keep this brotherhood, this brothership or whatever, like, together. And it's fantastic. It's a really good film. I would say probably out of 5 spiders, I would give it, I'm about a 4 with this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's really well done.
I have to go check this out. 'Cause I like modern westerns. Mm-hmm. I think they're really good. Like Savages and
the new True Grit.
True Grit, 310 to Yuma. I think those are really good films.
Hell or High Water.
Yes, Hell or High Water. Okay, so it's called the Sisters Brothers because their last name is Sisters.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eli and Charlie Sisters. Okay. Yeah. Tomato meters at 85%. The audience scores at 66%. So that means we'd like it, and Colton would be all right with it.
It was all right. Yeah. No, it's.
I might have to go check that one out.
Yeah, for sure. It's really worth watching.
All right. Maybe we should start making that a new thing, like Redbox finds.
Our Redbox review.
Oh, that's right. We did do that.
Yeah.
We did that back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Although we need some sort of Redbox review.
Okay. So, hang on. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, here's where you can find us. You can find all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, and of course on cosmicpotato.com. You can find us on facebook.com/worldwargpodcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Just search at WWG Podcast. You can find all of our merchandise, all of our shirts and hats, at shop.spreadshirt.com/worldwarg. You can also email us anytime,
day or night,
at worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. Also remember, you can always call or text the show at 385-240-1692. If you have any Valentine's Day fails that you want to share, that would be a perfect place to do that.
Yes.
So, this has been World War G episode 207. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
And you have been the listener. Stay geeky, my friends.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.